This meeting is being recorded.
Right. じゃあ、こっち、そう座ってもらって。はい。
Flavia-san, merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Ika-san. Neil-san.
Muchas gracias.
Danke schön. Danke schön. Huh? Huh? This kind of this morning. So this is the last time as far as this session in this month. Right. So before we just study today's text, I would like to just mention about one thing, how to practice. You see, it's a very important thing. See, to know much about how to practice. Otherwise, it takes us a lot of time to know how to practice. See? So this is a story happened in China. See, there are the teacher and the disciple. See? And whenever the teacher just met his disciple, he said, "Hey," and the disciple answered, "Yes." See? Whenever teacher just met him, he said, "Hey," and his disciple answered, "Yeah." See? They did this question and answer for 12 years. Only whenever his teacher just met the disciple, he said, "Hey," and the disciple answered, "Yes," without doing anything, any motion. Only the teacher just said, "Hey," the disciple just answered, "Yeah." So they did for 12 years. Then eventually, his disciple realized who he was without doing anything. Even his disciple did not do a zazen, but he could just realize who he. Koko-san, how do you do? How do I do? Without saying anything. Hey, you say yes. That's it. And for 12 years, they did. Constantly. Whenever his teacher just met his disciple, he said, "Hey," and the disciple just answer, "Yeah." Then, as I just told you, eventually he could realize who he was. See? Without doing zazen at all, but he will be able to realize who he was. Why? Why is what's the reason he will be able to realize who he was? And see, our practice to realize who we are. is nothing concerned with thinking, knowledge, what kind of academical thing. See? Simply when I just clap my hand, when I clap my hand, you simply just become this sound without doing this. See? When his teacher just when his teacher just met the disciple, he said, "Hey, hey." Then his disciple answered, "Yes." Right now, when I clap my hand, you see, if you have sincerely, if you are sincerely where you are in, you'll be able to just realize who you are. See? Exactly the same thing. When I clap my hand, you simply become this sound of the tree. When his teacher just they met him, the teacher said, "Hey," then the disciple answered, "Yes." Same situation. This way, you'll be able to realize who you are. See? Without doing anything. Without doing anything. See? This is a very important thing. The thing is, to realize who we are is nothing concerned with thinking. See? Simply you just become sound, and that's it. And you'll be able to just realize. Although you simply become this sound right now, but unfortunately, your practice is not matured yet. Then that's the reason you could not understand it. So, but never give up. See, the more you just practice. What's practice doesn't need. Whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind. Simply let it go. This doesn't. You do. The more you do this doesn't. The more you just become the things as you face right now. They eventually, simply you just become the. Then you'll be able to realize who you are. This way, you have to do it, doesn't it? Don't care much about the thinking. Whatever thinking come out in your mind, the thinking, your thought come out in your mind without any need. You don't need to care much about it. Simply let it go as it is. This is it. Then you'll be able to realize who you are. It's up to you. If someone takes quite much long time, but someone doesn't take much time. It's up to you. How sincerely faced. How do you sincerely face to the things you how you just how do you just sincerely become the things you faced? Yeah, right now, it's up to you. Yeah. See, you just if you just separate from the things you just face right now, it takes you a long time. It takes you a long. See, you sincerely just become overcome the things you face right now. See, it doesn't take much time. That's easy done. That's easy done. Okay, so we go back to today's text, number 75. When drinking tea. When drinking tea. Last night, I sincerely just declared how much I just drink kind of a shochu. This is Robinson, Jankara, and the kind of Alexander-san. Just drank much more. So it doesn't matter. So what's happened when you just drink, when you drink tea? See, this is a very very helpful for us to just realize who we are. Okay, what the game of just teach us with number 75 when drinking tea. You set a goal. Work work toward it, and move it on, and move it keeping on, and motivated to do so. When we just in case we just wanna just make a plan, we just plan what we have to do, what we wanna do. See, then the what's thinking just what's thinking is just working is see. We just try to do what we just make a plan. See, but the thing is that is happening in our mind. See, what we are doing is simply just making a plan without anything. Simply just only hand just move something like that. Thinking just come out something like that. That's it. See? That's the reason we don't care much about what the schedule we just made. See? We don't care much about it. See? We just simply making a plan. See? Without self. See? But as far as the thinking are concerned, see, we attach much about what we just make up, made a plan, because see, kind of a self, see, enters or intervene with the making plan. See, that is another true. That is another true. Without self, we're just making a plan. Then after that, we recognize what we just made a plan. Then we care much about what we just made a plan or what schedule we made. That's later. See, that's later. More in a sense, you may say that's after recognition. Before recognition, we simply just making a plan without self. See, kind of activity or kind of movement only exists. So we never care. We don't need to care much about what kind of the plan we just made. What kind of schedule we just made. Because without self, we completely make a plan. we can just completely make a plan. These are things what we are doing right now. Without self, without self, we can just simply act. See, very, very wonderful, very marvelous. So you set a goal, see, work toward it, and motivated to do so. This is a way of thinking. This is a way of thinking. But the reality is no motivation at all. No motivation, no goal, no motivation at all. Simply we just do. We just say, this is the reality. So you feel that there is something else besides what you are doing now. So you understand the body. That's reason we always attach the things, but we already attach what we just made as a plan. Because we simply recognize what we think of the self, or I or me. See, without self, we never attach anything. See, we never attach anything. Even just people say, well, this kind of schedule is so ridiculous. Who just made it? Oh, Alexanderson. Okay, that's understandable. No accusation, accusation at all. But that's quite understandable. But see, when people say, what kind of, who just made this kind of a ridiculous plan? Yeah, he did. So he was so depressed by what people say. See? But without self, even Alexanderson never depressed at all. Without self, so great, so great. So have some tea. What is happening? If you think about it, various type of tea or origin or variety, flavor, and brewing method come to mind. See? When you just, before you just drink tea, see? those kind of idea thinking come out in your mind. Maybe. Okay, doesn't matter. There is there is nothing else but your soul or mind, and what you are experiencing right now. The thing is, when I face this, simply just, and the things just come out as it is. That's it. When I face this, when I see, the things just come out as it is. That's it. Nothing concerned with, see, who just made this. Well, where this one just came from. Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any sense. But people try to think about who made it. Alexanderson. Okay. No, thank you. Where it's come from. Well, that's things. See? Those things. Well, it doesn't make any sense, when I face this, reality is when I face this, I simply become this one as it is. Nothing more or less. Nothing more or less. And then this, and then only this reality, the things the complete end. Nothing left at all. Then, we just recognize what's happened and take it out, and then we just try to think about this is a kind of whatever. See, that is a delusion. Reality is just when I face this, see, I simply become calm. You see what I faced, the end, nothing left at all. That's it. Nothing left at all. That's it. We never have any trouble. See? There is nothing else but your thought and what you are experiencing right now. What you are experiencing right now does not need to be thought after. See? We don't need to seek for anything. Just everything just exists as it is. That's all. See, we don't need to seek for anything. See, that's much. See, reality is so simple. See, we don't. The reason why is we don't need to seek for any reason. See, that's it. See, what you are experiencing right now does not need to be thought after. Very simple. But people try to say, people try to seek for where it's come from, what kind of a taste that is taken, what kind of what's it? That a place this kind of sauce just produce or something else. That's not necessary. Even the kind of thinking or idea just come up in your mind. It doesn't matter if you don't care much about it. But as far as people are concerned, we just simply just deal with, figure out where it's come from, and what kind of things it's caused us trouble. Okay. When we use words like zazen and practice, it feels like there is something else to do besides what you are doing right now. See, what again Roshi just want to teach us is, see, the reality is what we are acting. See, what we are acting, what's going on right now, right here. That's it. That's it. See? But as far as people are concerned, see, when we use a word like zazen or practice, see, they have a kind of idea what zazen is or what the practice is, and then we just try to practice as a practice. We just may or we just recognize in our mind. That is a total different. See, what we are doing, what we are doing right now is a practice. what we are doing is zazen. Nothing more or less. This activity, see, without self, without thinking, see, we simply just acting. See, we call it zazen. We call it practice. See, but as I mentioned, what we call, what we just say practice or the zazen. They have a different idea. See, but zazen is what we are doing right now. Practice zazen as well. See, practice zazen is what we are doing right now. See? Otherwise, even you just do a zazen, see, it's a totally different from what Shakyamuni Buddha or Patrick just recommend us to do. See? That's the reason you can do a zazen, you can do a practice. You see, anyway, whatever you are doing, you can do a zazen because only thinking, see, only thinking has come out in your mind everywhere, whatever you're doing. See? If you don't care much about the thinking or so only activity, only acting or action or remain. That is a practice. That is zazen. This zazen we want to ask you to do. Then you'll be able to encounter the essential self. Okay. When we use words like zazen and practice, see, people just try to have a kind of image for zazen or for practice, and then people try to do it like an image they just create. That is not zazen. That is not zazen. See what's zazen is, what's the practice is. Whatever you're doing, right now, right here, without self, without thinking. That is a practice. That is a zazen. You can do anyway. You can do anyway. Okay. It feels like there is something else to do besides what we are doing now. This activity. See, our activity is nothing concerning what we think of the self. See, not the human activity. See? And the activity is as Master Dogen just teaches. Our activity is a complete and universal. Complete and universal. But people totally misunderstand this reality. Okay, so this is because thought and discrimination as consciousness and contemplation have not seen. This is the most important thing. Once your thinking and thought completely cease, so then you'll be able to understand. See what activity is. See, before that, see, although you just know much about our activity is nothing concerned with the human activity. See? But you never accept it. You never accept it. See? Still you have a kind of doubt. Still you have a kind of doubt. But once you are thinking of thought completely cease, completely dropped away, then you'll be able to understand, our activity is nothing concerned with, see, nothing concerned with what we think about the self. See, then you never have any trouble. You are completely separate from what we think of the self. That's reason we have to do exactly. Thought and discrimination cause us to question various things. See, once thinking also completely cease, then there is nothing exists. There is nothing exists. See? Even what we recognize the self as I completely dropped away. There is nothing else. See, what knows? Right now, there is nothing exists at all. But people never understand this reality, even in this thinking or concept. There is nothing exists. See, right now. Once you just recognize what it is, then the things at the same time you just recognize this one as I or me. Then everything's come out. See? Everything come out later, before recognition. Nothing exists, just as it is. Well, you may not be able to say even as it is. And that is the reality. And right now, right here. Okay, but you never be able to just understand this reality. See, even in concept, our thinking, because there is a certain separation. There is a certain separation between that and this. You never be able to realize this the reality. That is not a reality at all. That's the creation of thinking. People never understand this reality. That's the reason we have to do that. And this is because thought and discrimination are our friends. Therefore, when we sit, if we let that go, then these things is truly just as it is right now. Even you have a kind of a misunderstanding, you don't need to worry about it. Simply just use it, and whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind, you just simply let it go as it is. Then see, you just getting before recognition. Okay? Before recognition, getting before recognition. That is that. Okay. Therefore, when we sit, if we let that go, then this thing is truly just as it is right now. This thing, what we think of the body. These things, see, this body, nothing concerned with, see, before recognition or after recognition. Always this one exists before recognition. Then you just recognize this reality, and then things come out. Things come out before and after. That is not reality. You see, what's right now, right here is, see, right here is always before recognition. See, before recognition. So we don't have any trouble. You never be able to recognize anything. Anything. So that's the reason. It doesn't cause us any trouble. But unfortunately, you recognize the thing after that. And then kind of what you think about self come out in your mind. And then at the same time, at the same time, the things that you just face come out. And you try to just figure out what it is, what it is. That causes trouble. Okay, therefore we sit. If we let that go, then this thing is truly just as it is right now. That is certain as it is correctly conveyed. This is certain. This is certain the Shakyamuni Buddha or patriarchs just recommend us to do. If you can do this, then you'll be able to encounter the essential thing. You start to question things based on your own idea. This is what you are told. Do not pursue the things word and nature. So this is some kind of thing. I don't know who says it, but anyway, definitely not Mrs. Robinson never says so. Alexanderson as well. No doubt there. But this is a very important thing. See? You see simple. That is why you are told, do not pursue things with words and letters. Because our activity is nothing concerned with thinking or words and letters. Words and letters. My even say concept. This activity, our activity is a universal activity, not a human activity. So you don't need to worry about. So you simply just say, let's go, thinking of thought as it is. See? That's it. If you can do it, you'll be able to encounter the essential thing. So do not pursue things with words and letters. You should simply let thoughts go. I truly want you to sit like this. Again, Roshi just wanna ask you to this level. You should simply let thoughts go on. Do not pursue things with words and letters. Because our activity or our daily life is nothing concerned with thinking. In another word, the activity and the daily life are nothing concerned with nothing concerned with what we think of the self. You see, that's the activity of a daily life is entirely concerned with universe. Very great. Okay. When you drink tea, there is only the taste and the appearance of the tea. That's it. See? But when you drink tea, you simply become one with tea, taste of tea. So you never be able to be aware of what taste it is, no? Because become one. So you never know much about what one is. So when you just take a tea, you simply become a taste of tea. You never know much about what a taste of tea is. This is a kind of a taste of tea. It come out later. See, it come out later. But even we don't know much about what kind of a taste it is. But we never just misunderstand. We never misunderstand that taste of tea and taste of beer. Very great. See, that's the reason. This one is so complete, perfect. See, without knowing, we never misunderstand the taste of tea and beer. Very great. Congratulations. And that's what this one is. This one is so perfect, complete. So you can just trust it. You can just trust it. See? Although this is such a complete and universal, but people never trust this, unfortunately. People always trust thinking. So very, unfortunate. Yeah. But once you realize who you are, so you never care much about the thinking. I thought, but this, because you know much about this, is such a universal. Okay, and then you can just completely, you can just trust this. Okay, when you drink tea, there is only the taste and the appearance of the tea. It does not cause suffering. Although when you just drink the tea, you don't be able to know much about. You never be able to know much about what tasty is. But as I just mentioned, you never misunderstand the taste of the tea and the beer. See, because we don't know much about what it is. That's the reason we never have any the suffering. We never have any suffering because we never be able to be aware of anything. Without awareness, see, whole things, you might say, whole human, in a sense, human activities going on. That's it. Without any trouble, any question, any problem. Okay. When you drink tea, and there is only the taste and the appearance of the tea. It does not cause suffering. Generally, people do not think of this as practice, unfortunately. This activity is a permanent. Permanent. This is tremendous. Without self, without thinking, we can simply act. Right now, right here. Whatever you do, your activity is nothing concerned with thinking. People never know much about this yet. Okay, where is it? Okay. Generally, people do not think of this as a practice. That's the reason people try to do. That's the reason people try to do something by thinking. As long as the more you just try to do something by thinking, the more you have a trouble question. Question. So-called suffering. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it without thinking. Without thinking, we can simply act. See, without any mistake. Without any mistake. Because complete and perfect. Our activity is complete and perfect. Or universe, you see. But unfortunately, people do not think of this as practice. They do not think of it as practice. People do not think of this as practice. They do not think of it as practice. Nothing. Nothing. When you hear tapping, when you hear the tapping sound, it is just as a tapping sound. It is natural function. See, when I clap my that's it. Nothing left. But people always try to think of the reason why that's a Jinen just have to just clap his hand. See, people always just try to seek for the reason why. That's totally unnecessary. The thing is reality. When I clap my hand, that's it. Nothing less at all. You don't need to think about anything. See, if you just think, if you just try to think, seek for or think of the reason why it's causing you trouble. It's causing you trouble. Okay. It is a natural function. So it's a very much natural function. You don't need to do anything. This function is called the way of Dharma. This function is the essential. And the essential. See, when I clap my hand, then what you think about the cells come out and they disappear. See, when I clap my hand, what you think about the universe come out and disappear. That's it. Nothing more. Things, this way things going on without doing anything. Those reasons we don't have any trouble. any question problem at all. See? The things, whole universe come out without any reason, and disappear, without any reason. That's it. But unfortunately, people never understand this reality, even in a concept or thinking. Okay. First is another. So, okay. When you touch, people do not think of spending their time in this way as practice. People always try to do something and try to figure out something. See even when people are doing that, people try to do something. That's a completely misunderstanding. See, you simply let's go, thinking also so as it is. This is that we have to do. See? That is nothing concerned with thinking. That is not thinking at all. That is not thinking at all. Okay, and people do not think of spending their time in this way as practice. In this way, never try to seek for anything, never try to figure out anything. Simply just the things just come out, and simply let's go it as it is. This is what we have to do. Okay, when you touch a flower, that is all there is to it. No one think of it as practice because you don't think of it that way. You think about various things with various thoughts. Practice is not something you think about. So you decide based on your own way of thinking. It's fine to stay as I am. You make that decision and claim that it's fine to stay as you see. As far as thinking is concerned, there is always the kind of self. There is always some kind of self, and the other exists. That's the reason. We just always try to do something. We try to do something, try to do anything. See, against what you think of the others. So you always try to do something. It's caused us trouble. See, it's caused us trouble because what you are doing is within thinking. See? That is another reality of, you see, ourselves. See? The reality of ourselves without anything. See? When you're faced to, I simply become as it is. See? There is no separation. See, no discrimination. Nothing exists. Nothing between this and that. Nothing exists. That's the reason there is no problem at all. But as far as thinking, see, between this and this, there is something exists. That's the reason people try to do something. People try to do something. That is not a reality at all. When you face without doing, without something, anything, I simply become as a team. Simultaneously, automatically, I just simply become without doing anything. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything. But as far as thinking, there is something different between that and this. That is, we have to try to do something. See? It's called a trouble. It's called a trouble. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything. Simply become as it is. Simply become this is. Without doing anything. But people never understand this reality. So always people try to do. This causes trouble. Okay. This is claim is fine to stay on. They also see if other people say people say stay here. Then people are just try to ask you, try to stay here. Try to stay here. This is another necessary to do. When I say stay here, this simply become stay here. That's it. They already stay here. But people try to stay here. Very strange. I say stay here. You simply become stay here. That's it. No more stay here. But people try to stay here. That is a certain gap. There is a certain gap between what I said and what people try to do. See? This gap causes trouble. See? People don't know much about because people don't know much about this one. See? Okay. You make that decision and claim that it's fine to stay as you are. It's all a matter of how you think. See? Whatever the thinking was will come out in your mind, and you just try to do something as you think, as you so. See? That is a serious thing. This one never just act. This one never act, but whatever you think, whatever you have to do. See? And this is another. This one is another activity. This one is another activity of thinking. See? Far beyond thinking. See? It's simply just act without thinking. And this is simply act without thinking. But in another way, this one just simply act without self. So great. This is how most of the teaching of the current. This is something different. See? As far as sort of sex in Japan, see, they don't care much about what Shakyamuni Buddha's realization is, and then Maya. But they don't know much, unfortunately. They don't know much about what the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. So they simply say, just sit. just sit. Then what's happening? Doesn't matter, just sit. Always they say, just sit, just sit. So how will we be able to sit? Just sit. There is a complete no use. They don't know much about. The reason why is they don't know much about what the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. What they are doing is that they try to do everything by thinking. This way, we never be able to realize who we are. Unfortunately, that's happened in Japan. Okay, this is how most of the teaching of the canon texts are just said. In this way, everything is replaced with concept or thinking. The truth of oneself as it is right now, right here, the real Buddha Dharma is lost. They don't care much about it, unfortunately. So, complete. No. How foolish, how pitiful. See, very, very unfortunate. See, but it doesn't matter. You just do. You just do this. What is that is? What is the thinking or thought come out in your mind? See? Without any reason. So that you don't care much about anything. Simply let's go it as it is. See? This doesn't. The more you do this doesn't, the more you just become the things you faced. In the eventually, there is no separation between this and that. Then you'll be able to encounter the essential self. Definitely, no doubt at all. That is the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. Okay. The truth about yourself is that there is nothing else but what is right now. See? When I face this, I simply become one as a face, become me as I face. This is a reality. Only this is reality, nothing more. Nothing more. What you think of the reality is a creation of thinking. See? When I face this, I simply become as it is. When I face this, I just simply become as it is. This is the reality. See? The reality is the things just happen. The things happening on those six senses. Those things. That is the only reality. Nothing more or less. Nothing more or less. That is this Dharma body's activity. Dharma body's activity. That's much. This is so tremendous. That's it. Okay. The truth about yourself is that there is nothing else but what is right now. Okay. At this moment. If a single thought does not come up, there is no problem in all the Dharma. This is a very famous saying by conscious also. He is a third patriarch from the Bodhidharma. And he said, if you want once kind of thinking thoughts come out in your mind, if you never care much about it, you never have any trouble, any question, any problem at all. See? Only this, only this. See? If you just hold it, grasp it, and try to figure out what the reason this kind of thinking come out in your mind, it's cause you trouble. Only this cause you trouble. Nothing more than very simple. That's a Shakyamuni Buddha's realization. Okay. Single so does not come up, but there is no proven in all the Dhamma. We do not think about it at each moment. Then that situation, and that moment proof and evidence of that truth. As long as you just hold or just take care of it, and the thinking also coming out in your mind without any reason, you never have any trouble. You'll be able to know much about it. If you just do this, doesn't, you know much about it. And because we just care much about, well, because we attach the thinking, so then this kind of a trouble or problem or question just come out in mind. And it causes suffering. You can understand it, even in the concept. Then if you just complete, if just you are thinking also completely cease, or completely dropped away, there is nothing trouble at all. Yeah. Very great. Okay. It is not clear. Therefore, there is no need to keep or discard anything, because this one is empty. The whole universe is empty. See, the only the only person who just recognize things, and then kind of things come out. That's it. That's all. That's all. But basically, fundamentally, the whole universe is empty. Okay, the ancient master urges people to devote themselves thoroughly to the present moment, right now. So we never just we should not separate from. We should not separate from right now, right here. How you can do is whatever thinking or thought come out in our mind, simply just let's go it as it is. Then you are always right now, right. You are always in right now, right here. So you don't need to seek for any method, any way to do so. Simply, whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind, see, just say, let's go. Let's go it. Let's go it as it is. You are always in that now, that here. Okay. The present moment is not something to be created in the future. Right now is nothing we can do. Before you just realize, before you just recognize, before we just recognize, right now, right here is exist. See? So we cannot do anything. And it's not necessary to do anything. Then you be, this way you'll be able to just practice. See? Whatever you just face, whatever you face, you just become as it is. This way you just will be able to just practice. Then both the other and what you think about the self completely talk to it. Then you'll be able to understand this reality. What you'll be able to just realize who you are. Okay. The present moment is not something to be created in the future. It's always present right now, it's always as it is. As it is. And the present right now, right here, doesn't cause us any trouble, question, suffering, so-called suffering. Doesn't is about facing reality direct. See, this way we have to practice. See, when I crack my thing, it directly becomes this sound. Why do we have to be? Why do we have to be? Without doing anything, it simply becomes this sound, as it is. Very simple. This way we have to practice. That is. Then you'll be able to encounter the essential thing. See, very easy. Everybody become this sound. Everybody become this sound without doing anything. Without doing anything. Without self. We simply become this sound. Very great. Very tremendous. Okay. One more thing. The eyes do not say I see. The nose does not say I smell. Human beings inevitably think that they are smelling with their own noses and seeing with that own eyes. This is completely misunderstanding. Completely misunderstanding. Without self, we'll be able to see. We'll be able to smell. Without self, but when we just recognize this reality, we'll be able to recognize what it is. At the same time, we just recognize this one as I, the self. Then we put the I, put the I on the activity we have to do. I smell, I taste it, I saw or something. That is completely misunderstanding. Reality is simply without eyes, simply seeing, but seeing, tasting, smelling. That's it. We are the human being or the people are completely deceived by thinking. Okay, thank you. Something with anything. That is real attachment to me. That is we just recognize. that's the reason we recognize what we think of the self. See? What we think of the self never exists. Never exists. See? When you recognize something, at that time, kind of the self come up in your mind. That's all. That's all. Before kind of thinking come out after, before, that's kind of, see, before after, the kind of the thinking come out in your mind. See, what we thinking about the self never exists. Never exists. So that's the reason we have to do that. See? Only that you'll be able to just realize this reality. And that's much doesn't is so great. Something special. That's like the Alexander. No. I don't force you to laugh or to smile. Hi, thank you so much. So we're gonna see you the next week. So meanwhile, we'd like to ask you to say whenever you're free. See, only that you'll be able to encounter the essentials. はい、ありがとうございました。メルシー僕を断言し、デルさん、we'll go